One of the strangest surprises to come out of 2020 has been the sudden boom in popularity experienced by Among Us. Originally released in the summer of 2018, the game remained relatively unknown up until last year, when it saw one of the highest rises in proportion of new players of any game ever experienced. The game became one of the most watched on Twitch, attracting a wealth of players and streamers alike to its imposter game type scene. Notably, Among Us is not a game made by a famous studio. Its premise is quite simple, so what could have possibly made this game so popular? 10. Quarantine fun for all. Imagine a scenario where everyone in the world is forced to remain inside at all times. Oh, wait, you don't have to. You could just remember what life was like at the beginning of last year. The sanity bar of virtually everyone who went through quarantine was put through a hard test. Among Us gave gamers some relief by restoring some form of social interaction within the community. You finally had something to do on those lonely nights, someone to talk to, a way to forget about the problems of the world and pass the time. 9. Free to play. Another important reason why Among Us gained so much momentum is its price tag. Free to play on mobile. Usually, free mobile games tend to be based on solid concepts, but are riddled with microtransaction paywalls that hinder progress, making gameplay feel like an unrewarding task. Among Us is not like that. It lets you play, for free, one of the best multiplayer games where you interact with more than just an AI. We should not forget that it is the top free game on Google Play Store. 8. Streamers loved it. If something is going to become popular, it needs the attention of the gaming community's Twitch streamers and YouTubers. These people play an important role in popularizing games and often function as magnets that draw their subscribers into a new title. When coming to Among Us, the most interesting part which attracted streamers is discussions. There are many other features like the ability to play as imposter and crewmate. These are some of the main reasons that made streamers make love with the Among Us game. 7. Quick games. In Among Us, you just play one of the best co-op games out there. That's it. No nonsense is preventing you from having the most fun. A match will generally take 15 minutes at most to complete, so you can squeeze in a quick gaming session even if you have the shortest lunch break. The Among Us tasks are very small, like filling the reactor with fuel and swiping cards. All the minigames are very short. In fact, they can be completed in seconds. This becomes a major reason to reduce the boring factor of the game. 6. Easily portable. Among Us lives in your phone and occupies a tiny amount of space. You can jump in a match within a couple of minutes in the worst possible case scenario. All you need to do is pull up your phone anywhere you are and play the game, assuming you have an internet connection. While most people probably played this game from home in 2020, it's still nice to be able to carry the game with you anywhere. Thus, nothing prevented people from populating lobbies on end. 5. Cross-platform genius. A great way to make sure people will play a game is to have cross-platform compatibility. This is an age where gamers are on different systems and not everyone is always able to join their friends. Games are increasingly becoming cross-platform to bridge the gap that separates folks who want to play together but have different systems. The cross-platform of the game increases your audience reach and facilitates a cross-platform socializing and multiplayer experience, making sure the game stays consistent between different markets and helps you in managing your player base. 4. Intuitive controls. Control schemes and user interfaces are among the hardest elements to master in a new game, especially for inexperienced gamers. Remember when you played your first FPS and had to get used to the first-person perspective? Among Us is intuitive enough that people who never played any video games could pick it up and minimally struggle with it. 3. You play as a detective. While navigating locations around the ship, you also have to pay attention to what's happening around you. Your brain goes in full Sherlock mode, making conjectures and hypotheses about who could be doing something to cover their tracks. Games that stimulate and engage your thoughts often result in positive experiences that attract plenty of players. There are 2 ways to win a game of Among Us as a crewmate. First, you and the other crewmates can complete all of your tasks, filling up the green progress bar in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. This will trigger the victory screen and end the match. It's important to know that even if a crewmate is killed by an imposter, they will still need to complete their tasks as a ghost in order to win the game. You can also win a game of Among Us as a crewmate by discovering the imposters and ejecting them through the airlock. When bodies are found or an emergency meeting is called, players can choose to vote a player out if they strongly suspect that they are an imposter. Depending on what the game setting is, there can be between 1 and 3 imposters in a match. Once all of the imposters are gone, the victory screen will pop up and the match will end. 2. You play as an incognito killer. Being the imposter is arguably when the game is at its best. You have to outsmart the entire crew, so your wits are put through a real challenge that is ever so entertaining. Gameplay isn't based on getting the most amount of kill streaks, but on the imposter being discreet and cunning enough to get away with murder. If you're not a natural liar, then some Among Us imposter tips will help you deceive your way to the top. How else are you going to kill freely and look other players in the eye when you say it wasn't you? It's a game of knife-edge deception where you need to perfect the art of not looking suspicious, but not looking too not suspicious, because that's obviously suspicious. 1. The discussions are hilarious. A steady source of memes stems from the discussions that ensue between players. That's where the real action of the game takes place. Crewmates have the best chance at winning a game if they quickly identify the imposters and inject them from the ship. The whodunit mystery game Among Us swept across the globe in September. It currently sits at number 1 on the App Store and has provided hours of entertainment during the pandemic. The company behind the game, Innersloth, originally released Among Us back in 2018, but received 70% of its total downloads this past September alone. The only way to communicate in Among Us is through the chat room feature. Here, players discuss what happened, trying to figure out who the imposter is. It's also been a source for some of the game's best memes. Nothing is off the table in the chat room, from trolling, to funny observations, to poor decision making. These are our top 10 reasons why Among Us is so popular. I know the reasons may change from person to person, but don't worry. Let us know your reasons in the comments section, and we will spread your thoughts.